real question is this: are we living a full life? Are we making the right decisions when it comes to children, marriage, work, faith, and so many more issues we deal with daily? How can we know with confidence we are living a full life?
Welcome to the Full Life Crew podcast. We are your hosts and life coaches, Jareth and Deborah Navarre. We will help you find the confidence in those critical areas of your life. Our goal is to help you bring to your family the support, structure, and providence we all desire so we can live the life we want to live. A complete life, a joyful life, a full life.
We are so glad you're here. Now let's get started.
Hey, welcome to the podcast. I'm Jareth.
And I'm Deborah.
And we are the Full Life Crew. First of all, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you listening. If you're liking the podcast, please like, share them, comment on them where you can. And this particular podcast is going to be about kids are products of their environment. If you missed the previous one is when should your kids start school? And that one and this one kind of tie in good to each other. And this is podcast number 10 in season number 1 of the Full Life Crew podcast. This is actually our last podcast in this series.
Yeah, we've had 10 really good podcasts that if you haven't listened to them yet, you should go back and listen to them. We got some great pointers on parenting.
Yeah, we try to keep them short and sweet. Like, we're not writing a book. We're trying to keep these things short and sweet where you can plug in for 15 or 20 minutes a day and maybe pick up one thing a day that may help you, become a better parent. And that was the whole point of the series. We'll probably end up doing, after doing these 10, there was a lot of things that we were discussing that we just didn't cover.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because once we get going, it's like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
This is a great point that we need to talk about.
Yeah, so we will probably revisit this topic, parenting. I actually called this one Parenting 101 when I was storing it and filing it all away. So we may come up with another series, Parenting 102, which will be a little bit more in detail on all our parenting experiences and the things we've learned. Me and Deborah are not, we don't have degrees in psychology. We don't have degrees. She has a nursing degree. I have a business degree. But where we have a real degree is in the degree of parenting and growing a family. If you don't know, we have 8 kids. All of them are super high functioning kids. We've been married for over 22 years now.
Our children range in age from 22 to almost 2.
We run 2 separate businesses, and we got busy, active life. That's why we're called the Full Life Crew, because we're trying to live our absolute fullest life. And our goal for you is to give you what we've learned. And that's all we can really give you, is our advice and what we've learned. And then maybe you can take something from it and go from there. So with that being said, this is the final chapter in our parenting podcast series. And this one is, kids are products of their environment. As a parent, we have more influence over our children than anyone else, by the way.
Because they are with us all the time.
That's because kids are products of their environment. You're right, baby. They learn from us how to speak, how to interact with others, how to see the world around them. So if we're always negative, our kids are going to be what?
Negative.
Yeah.
Negative Nancy's.
Yeah. Our kids will be too. If we complain, our kids are going to
complain.
If we're short, like, give me that, and fuss at them, what are our kids going to be?
They're going to be very short-tempered.
The environment we create as parents and as a family, because you may have older children too, is going to be the most influential thing in a kid's life. So this is a very important point. If you don't like the way your kid is acting, and I went the other night on a Facebook group on parenting, and I was reading some of the comments, and there seemed to be a common thread in all of them. Like, very young kids were being very disruptive. And my best advice for anyone listening right now, if you have a problem child, quit looking at the child and start looking at the environment. And the environment starts with you. So what are you listening to on TV? What are you listening to in the car? Are you listening to music? Like, do this. Pick your top 5 best songs that you love, that you jam to in the car with your little baby in the car. Go on the internet and read the lyrics. Find out what the lyrics are and read the lyrics. I promise you, as a decent parent, you will not play those songs in the car anymore.
Yeah, sometimes you don't even realize, you may like the tune, but you're not realizing what it's saying until the little person in the back seat starts singing the song with the words, and then you're like, wait, hold up, what did you just say? So it's like you don't even realize as an adult sometimes exactly what you're listening to until it's brought to your attention by maybe a small person in the back seat. And then you're like, wait, hold up, you can't say that. But Mom, that's what you listen to on the radio.
Yeah.
Then it kind of hits you in the gut.
Or if you're like me, you're riding in the car one day when you have your whole family there and you're going to church and your wife is listening to Lady Gaga. Like, really? And I think the song was Disco Stick.
Oh gosh, that was a long time ago, and that's
I was just shocked because back in the day I didn't ride with the family a whole lot. I was always going to work or doing something different. I was always on the road, but I was in the car with my children, and this actually became a very source of problem for me and Deborah, because the music that they listen to is very influential. I mean, think about it. If you're listening to rap music, it's all about, money and sex and killing cops and all this bad stuff. You listen to country music, it's about, angry women and drinking and all that stuff. You listen to rock and roll. I mean, the motto for rock and roll was sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
They tell you straight up. So, I mean, just the music that you listen to can influence your child. So, if your child you don't like what you're seeing with your child, you need to stop, examine the environment, what they hear, what they see, and like your relationship. I see a lot of kids, especially young boys, that don't have dads in their lives. Maybe the dad's in jail, maybe there's a problem, whatever. But a young boy needs a male. Maybe it needs to be the grandfather if the dad's not around. But a young boy needs a man in his life. Women will have a hard time controlling a young boy. But there's something when dad barks or that male voice speaks up, that little male voice understands, whoop, whoop, that's the alpha male. I'm not there yet. And I think parents miss that. I think women miss that. I think women misunderstand. I mean, we've been around the house and you're like, oh, I'm so stressed out about this.
I'm Dad!
And then
I'll holler, Dad! And then it's like all of a sudden, whoop, everybody's in place, everybody's doing their job, everybody's doing their chore.
I just got to come through and say, hey, why is your mother having to ask you to do this? And then boom, they hear the voice, they know the voice, and they go do it. They go do it. A father's voice has tremendous weight. And I think the father's being drowned out of the relationship these days. And a young boy, especially a young boy, needs that voice. And then young girls. Young girls need to know that their daddies love them and their daddy protects them. A woman wants to be protected more than anything. Am I wrong?
No, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. Despite whatever they're going through that particular time, at the end, they want protection. They want shelter, they want food, they want protection. And a man provides that. A boy provides all that other silly stuff that doesn't last. And so a young girl needs to hear the voice of the father.
Yes. And
know that her daddy loves her. And her daddy's there. And he's close by. And you're not getting out of his sight.
He's like the rule maker in the house. You follow the rules. And he makes sure that's done.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to give you 3 tips. 3 tips today on how to start to rectify the environment if the environment is negative, or how to make your environment better if you're trying to make a better environment. Now, no environment's going to be perfect. Families aren't perfect. But as long as we're trying.
Trying is the key word.
As long as we're trying, it's going to be okay. Life's a journey.
You got to enjoy the ride.
Yes, I mean, this is a process. It's a process. So wherever you are right now, don't feel discouraged. Feel excited that you're here with us. And maybe you'll learn something today and take that and implement it. But before we get into these 3 tips, Deb, we have to thank our sponsor. Have you ever dreamed of owning your own business? Maybe you thought about franchises, but weren't quite sure which one's right for you? Well, let me tell you a little bit about Tiki. Tiki's is a shaved ice cream, and coffee franchise that started in Boca Raton, Florida, and now has expanded into multiple locations across the U.S. So what makes Tiki so special? Well, Tiki's offers unique products that people love. Shaved ice cream, and coffee. Not to mention their franchise model is low cost and easy to operate. Tiki's also provides extensive training and support to all their franchisees. So if you're looking for an opportunity to be your own boss, then I urge you to consider Tiki's Franchising. Contact them today at tikisfranchising.com to learn more about the franchise. Yes, Tiki's has been a blessing to us and our family and to many other families that have got involved with Tiki's. You can still get in Tiki's. There's lots of opportunities in many states, so you need to check them out. So let's get right into it. Here are 3 ways to create a positive environment for your kids. Number 1 is be a role model.
A role model.
How are you a role model to the women in this house, Deborah?
How am I a role? Well, let's see. I cook. I make sure the house is in order. I help them with their homework. And
Let me help you out, Deborah. Let me tell you why the women in this family are so blessed and so good.
Because we have you.
Nope. Because they have you.
Because they have me.
Because they have you. Yeah.
Really?
See, here's the deal. You are very respectful, so your daughters are respectful. You're very strong, so your daughters are strong. You take care of so many people, so your daughters are nurturing and caring.
Well, I just want them to grow up to be great women.
And you're a great woman.
So I try and teach them things that I feel like they need to have when they go out in the world, when they become moms, when they become wives.
I don't think you realize how much you're teaching them just by being you. And the better you've become at being you, because when you were younger, you always were so negative. Everything was negative. It was
negative.
And now you're more positive. And now what I've noticed is some of the kids come home with some negative stuff, and you're the one giving them positive. Hey, it's going to be okay. Hey, this is going to be all right. Now you're like, you have evolved too. And your daughters, and your boys too, but mostly your daughters are like these really powerful women because you are a powerful woman in this household.
I want them to be strong. So I think maybe over the years, seeing them grow has taught me to grow also. So I give them positive reinforcement. I tell them, yes, you can do that. If you feel like you want to be president of your club, you can do that. You just have to work for it. And being positive on yourself helps in daily life like that.
Yeah. I think it also, too, we've been married for over 22 years. In this house, we kind of operate in this little triangle. And at the top of this triangle, you and I both place God first.
Yes.
And then we are both down at the bottom of the triangle. And we both understand that when we take God out of the picture, just like they've taken God out of school, you have problems.
Yes, things go in a negative
way. And one day in the future, we're going to have a marriage series coming up, and we're going to hit on that particular point and how impactful that point has been that has made this whole thing possible. But I think the way our relationship is why our children are good, wholesome, moral, hardworking kids. I think the environment we created through that system, because you're very self-giving, like you're always like there's things out there on the internet where people like fuss about women making a sandwich for their man. You'll say, hey, you want a sandwich? And you'll bring me a sandwich. I know we're using the sandwich example, but like, you'll bring me a sandwich. You bring me coffee in the morning. You desire to give yourself to me in multiple aspects.
But it's a two-way street. You also do the same for me.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
So
we have built, the structure we built is a very self-giving structure. And here in our house, our older kids take care of the little kids. Mm-hmm. And even the little kids are very giving,
They do. They like to take care of each other. Like, especially James. James wants to make sure everybody has what they need to be, to move forward on whatever they're doing at the time. Mm-hmm. He's very concerned about others. And even the older ones, they'll see the little ones, they may need help brushing their teeth. They go jump in and help them. So it's like they're very positive on helping everyone around them. So then when you go out to school, our kids, like, I'll get messages from teachers. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know, so-and-so, they are so helpful. They help the kids that are struggling.
Yeah. Well, also when I pick the kids up from school, they're always like, Dad, roll the window down, roll the window down. And they scream at the teachers, you know, bye, Miss So-and-so, bye, Miss So-and-so. And the teachers are so, like, you can tell they're very uncomfortable with it because they don't get that a lot. And the teachers are kind of like, oh, bye, guys, you know. And some teachers eat it up, but most of the teachers are like,
Well, when we go to school in the mornings, we always kind of talk about when we're getting there. I said, okay, guys. I said, make sure you tell someone something nice today, because you never know how their day was yesterday or how their morning has been. Tell your teacher, thank you for being my teacher today. I tell them to tell something positive, and always smile. Smiling is the best gift you can give anyone.
Yeah. So, I mean, being a role model is a huge, huge thing. And it starts in the household. And I know Deborah is a fantastic role model for all the kids in the house. She's very giving. She's very nurturing. She's very caring. She's a great communicator. She disciplines them. So, I mean, she does wonderful things and sets a great role. And she's a great role model for the kids. The second way to encourage a positive environment for your children is to encourage positive thinking. You know, and that's tough because there's a lot of negatives in the world.
Yeah, they may get to school or the playground or something, and some kid says, "Oh, your hair's ugly today." You know, and you have to teach them, "No, I like my hair. I think my hair looks beautiful fixed like this." So you have to give them why they like their hair the way they fixed it. And it doesn't matter what the other kid thinks.
Well, just recently we ran into this issue. Malia won Student of the Year, and a little girl that she goes to school with really wanted to win Student of the Year. Malia is very successful at a lot of stuff she does, and she wants to be successful. She'll tell you straight up, I want to win. I want to be the best.
Yeah.
Like, that's her mindset. So, but she won Student of the Year, and this other girl didn't. And this other girl was talking trash about her. This other girl was saying mean stuff directly to her face. And then Malia explains that she ended up in the locker room crying, and it really hurt her. But in the end, when I picked her up from practice and we talked about it, she was hurt. She was devastated because she really likes this girl. And this girl apparently only, you know, just cares about winning, doesn't know how to win or doesn't know how to lose, which we talk about, you know, kids got to know how to lose. But yeah, it was a very tough situation. But Malia being in this environment, like, hey, it's going to be okay. You know, our family's been through a lot. We've had the death of a child, multiple hurricanes, COVID. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff that this family has been through. And so this was just another, you know, bump on the road. She fixed herself, got herself back right, and went right back in it. The girl ends up coming and apologizing to Malia.
Yes.
You know, because somebody said that Malia was really upset about it. And Malia is genuinely a great person because of the environment she's raised in. And so that affected that other girl, where that other girl felt she needed to come apologize.
Yeah. Malia worked hard. Like, she worked hard at something, and she was very heartbroken.
And not saying the other girl didn't work just as hard, but the judges picked Malia.
Yeah. Malia didn't have any, like, she was hurt. Her feelings were hurt, but we talked about it. She's like, yes, you're right. I did the best. I did what the judges thought I needed to do. And so, yes, I won. So she was okay with it then.
But she was really upset. Like, she doesn't cry much, and she cried. But she wasn't devastated.
Right.
She was able to work through that emotional, sad time and then find a positive solution and move forward.
And she did.
Yeah.
everything was okay.
I mean, imagine if you had a negative home environment and you had a negative experience at school and you come home to a negative environment. You may stay in that whole negative funk for months, for years. It may affect you for the rest of your life. That one negative experience, if you don't have a very positive outlook on life, like treat it as a learning lesson, you may spend your entire life on this one moment. Another way to create a good, positive environment for your kids to raise good, healthy, full, well-rounded kids would be promoting healthy activities and habits. Create a healthy environment for your kids by promoting like healthy activities and habits such as regular exercise, like playing sports. And we talked about in the podcast how important sports were. Eating nutritious foods. We talked about how we cook at home versus how we eat out. Just the food. If you consume lots of bad stuff, it's going to affect the way your whole system works. You need to be consuming good, nutritious food.
Yeah, a lot of sugary foods, a lot of junk foods. It'll just bring down your
whole system.
Your whole system, and it just kind of makes you drag around.
And you're always kind of moody.
Yes.
Y'all know any moody kids out there?
Yes, very moody kids.
It could be their nutritional plan.
They need good, healthy meals. Keep them going.
Getting enough sleep. Getting rid of the games or setting limits on the games. Like, hey, the games are off at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we've noticed if we let them play too many games or watch too much TV, they definitely get grumpy, and then they get moody, and then they become very negative.
Yeah.
And they start bickering and fighting, and we have to say, okay, time out, what's going on? And we realize, okay, wait a minute, you've had way too much game time today. You've had way too much TV. Let's get outside. Let's go outside and play. Get outside in the sunshine, get exercising, get a good meal in us, and usually they perk up. They become more positive, and then they become happy. And
I don't remember which one it was, but one of them was like, I want to say it was AJ when he was a little bit younger. He would get on this trip where he would play the video game all day, and then he would be whiny and complainy. And I said, nope, that's it. I'm taking the games away. And I took the games away for like a week or two, and then he became this totally different kid.
Yeah.
He was back to his normal sweet little self. If we allow them, I've noticed when they play more games and they watch more TV, they digress as like little humans. They become more agitated. They become just more negative in all aspects. And I know it's the games.
Yeah, because they even get grumpy with their friends.
Yeah.
They short with their friends.
I've noticed when we pull the games away that they have to communicate more with us. They have to interact more with us, and they become pleasant little kids again. But the more they play the games, it's like the more they, especially when they're young.
Yeah, because then they have to use their imagination to start playing, and then when they do that, then they start playing with others again, and they have to work together. And if they've been on their games or TV too much, they're not pleasant. They're not happy anymore.
In the end, us as parents are the single most influential point in our kids' lives. And we as parents have to work really hard.
We have to work together.
We have to work as a team. It's really hard to do if you're out there by yourself. If you're a single mom or you're a single dad and you're trying to do it by yourself, or you're in what we like to call a house divided, where mom has the kid and then dad gets the kid, and you have two different sets of rules. That makes it hard. So whatever situation you guys are in out there, you have to work together. No matter the situation, you got to work together.
Yeah, working together is very, very important.
And some of you may be in a tougher situation due to divorce or separation.
Or maybe a death.
I mean, there's lots of reasons that you could be in a much tougher situation. But if you work hard on the environment and you work hard on yourself, what are you projecting? Are you projecting negativity? Are you projecting complaining? Or are you a positive force? Are you a glass is half full type of person? Are you doing positive things? Are you helping others? What are you doing? What does the kids see? It goes back to that old saying, how'd it go? Don't tell me, show me, or how's it go? Come on.
I'm not quite sure where you're.
Daddy or something, don't tell me what to do when I see. I don't know how it goes. But anyway, it's basically the whole point of the saying is, don't tell me what to do if you're showing me something different.
Yeah, like, so if you notice your kids are becoming more negative, or if they're not happy, maybe take a step back. Look and see how you're acting. Think about how you're treating others at the time. Maybe you're really stressed. Maybe you have a whole lot going on, and you have become kind of negative.
Or you've let down your guard, and you've let, maybe they're teenagers, and you've let a friend that can be a negative influence start influencing your child.
Yeah.
Or your child and that child have gotten together and both been like both have started their own negative influence on each other, and they've grown their negative influences. So sometimes it may be just limiting their activities from the world. What does Jesus say? He says, live in the world, don't be consumed by the world.
Yeah.
Right? And I think as parents, that's a good parenting lesson, whether you're a Buddhist or an atheist.
Because it's hard not to get consumed by the worldly things out there.
Yeah, I mean, live in the world, don't be consumed by it. So you got to be able to separate what's important, what's not important. But the environment is key. The environment is key. If we want to change the world, we need to change the environments at home.
Starts at home.
Yeah.
Starts with the parents.
Yeah. And while we're out there trying to do that, living our absolute best life, winning, losing, remember, life's a journey.
Enjoy the ride.
Did you enjoy the podcast? Would you like to sponsor a podcast? If you're looking to advertise your brand, product, or message, our platforms are the best place to do it. We reach a large and engaging audience, and we can help you get your message out there. If you want to learn more about how you can advertise with us, visit us at thefulllifecrew.com/shop. So thank you once again for listening and tuning into our podcast. And just remember, while you're out there trying to live your absolute best full life, life's a journey. Enjoy the ride.